Over 60? Never eat these four seafoods. Number one, destroys your brain fast. Over 60? You need to hear this. There's a so-called healthy seafood still sold in grocery stores across America that's quietly wrecking senior brains. It's linked to sudden memory loss, brain fog, even early dementia. And yet, most doctors say nothing. Why? Because this fish has a clean image, but new research shows it's loaded with neurotoxins that build up in your brain over time, especially if you're over 60. Every year, 50,000 seniors land in the ER from just one seafood mistake, one that's totally avoidable. And the scariest part? You've probably eaten it this month, maybe even this week. So before your next seafood dinner, stop and watch this video first. This one ingredient could be erasing your memory one bite at a time. Before we begin, let us know in the comments where you're watching from, your age, and how often you eat seafood. Have you ever felt dizzy, foggy, or off after a seafood meal? We're reading and replying to every comment with personalized tips and advice. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more science-backed senior health tips that could change your life. Let's talk about seafood. It's often marketed as a brain-boosting, heart-protective superfood. But for seniors, the wrong seafood can do just the opposite. Some choices actually accelerate memory loss, weaken the immune system, and quietly damage the organs we rely on most after 60. Today, we start with the four seafoods seniors should never touch and the science behind why they're so dangerous. Let's begin with a delicacy that's silently become one of the deadliest foods for older adults: raw oysters. Oysters harvested from warm coastal waters may look luxurious on a plate, served with lemon and cocktail sauce, but they can harbor a bacterium called Vibrio vulnificus, and that's where the real danger lies. This isn't some mild food poisoning. In seniors, Vibrio can cause septicemia, a blood infection so aggressive it can overwhelm your system in under 48 hours. You see, as we age, our immune response weakens, and Vibrio exploits that vulnerability. According to the CDC, seniors are 80 times more likely to suffer severe illness from Vibrio than younger people. In fact, 96% of deaths from this bacteria occur in people over 60. And yet, there are no warning labels on restaurant menus or grocery store counters. It starts subtly, a stomachache, maybe some chills. But then comes the high fever, rapid heart rate, and in many cases, bullous skin lesions that resemble large blood-filled blisters. The infection spreads through the bloodstream like wildfire. One of the most chilling cases I've seen was James Patterson, a 68-year-old retired banker from Charleston. He had raw oysters at his anniversary dinner. That night, he woke up with a fever and severe shaking. By the time he reached the ER, the infection had entered his bloodstream. Despite life-saving antibiotics, James lost 3 toes and spent 2 months in a rehabilitation center. He now only eats oysters cooked and strongly warns his friends against raw ones. If you love oysters, the solution isn't giving them up entirely. It's cooking them fully. Steamed mussels offer a similar flavor, the same zinc and B12 benefits, and far less risk. Just make sure they're cooked until the shell's open and the meat is firm. Now let's move to a fish that looks healthy, but hides one of the most dangerous heavy metals in seafood, king mackerel. King mackerel is high on the ocean food chain, which means it eats a lot of smaller fish, and with every meal, it accumulates more methylmercury, a toxic compound that doesn't leave your body easily. And here's the catch. Mercury concentrates in your brain tissue, especially in areas responsible for memory, movement, and coordination. In seniors, this becomes a recipe for disaster. The Harvard Aging Brain Project followed over 1,200 adults aged 65 and older. Those who ate king mackerel weekly had 30% faster cognitive decline, higher rates of tremors, and more frequent symptoms of early-stage dementia. And these aren't temporary effects. Mercury damage is often permanent. The symptoms sneak up on you. You might first notice your hands shaking while drinking tea. You forget a name mid-sentence. Your feet tingle as if they're asleep all the time. These signs are often blamed on normal aging, but they may be the result of repeated mercury exposure. And if you already take medications for blood pressure or cholesterol, mercury can worsen side effects and interfere with nutrient absorption. Seniors with slower liver and kidney detoxification are especially vulnerable, meaning even small doses of mercury can build up to toxic levels over time. But here's the good news. There are safe alternatives. Atlantic mackerel contains 75% less mercury, but still provides powerful omega-3s that protect your heart and brain. Even better, wild-caught Alaskan salmon is rich in omega-3s, vitamin D, and astaxanthin, an antioxidant that fights oxidative stress in the brain. So, if king mackerel is in your freezer, it's time to toss it. Your brain and your future self will thank you. And we're not done yet. Up next is a seafood commonly labeled healthy, often served in salads and stir-fries, but it's imported from overseas and farmed in polluted waters. It may be fueling inflammation in your joints, damaging your liver, and setting you up for heart disease. Keep watching. What you're about to learn may change your shopping list forever. Now let's move to number 2 on our list. One of the most deceptively common seafoods in American kitchens, imported shrimp from Asia. It looks harmless. It tastes great. It's low in fat, high in protein, and often marketed as a smart choice for heart health. But if you're over 60, imported farmed shrimp could quietly be inflaming your joints, weakening your immunity, and disrupting your medication response without you even knowing it. Here's the ugly truth. Over 90% of shrimp consumed in the US is imported, and most of it comes from crowded aquaculture ponds in countries like Vietnam, Thailand, and India. These aren't pristine oceans. They're often artificial farms filled with murky, contaminated water, fecal sludge, and decaying shrimp feed. To fight the bacteria that naturally thrive in these conditions, producers pump these ponds full of antibiotics, fungicides, pesticides, and even hormones. You'd think the FDA would protect you, but inspections are rare. When they do test, the results are alarming. 1 in 4 shrimp samples contains illegal drug residues. Some even test positive for chloramphenicol, a banned antibiotic linked to fatal bone marrow suppression. That's not just a food issue. That's a prescription-level toxin ending up on your dinner plate. For seniors, this becomes especially dangerous. Aging livers and kidneys have reduced detox capacity, meaning these residues don't clear out as fast as they do in younger people. If you're also taking blood pressure meds, statins, or blood thinners, the chemical interaction can increase inflammation, reduce drug efficacy, or spark unexpected side effects. The symptoms are subtle. Your knees ache more than usual. Your stomach feels bloated after dinner. Your skin flares up in red patches. You think it's aging. But it could be chemical-laced shrimp silently priming your immune system for a dangerous overreaction. Chronic low-grade inflammation is the root of nearly every major disease of aging: heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, and Alzheimer's. Why add fuel to the fire? The fix is simple but powerful. Switch to U.S. caught wild shrimp. Shrimp from the Gulf of Mexico or Oregon coast is generally caught in cleaner waters and is subject to much stricter safety standards. Look for labels like wild-caught U.S. Gulf shrimp or product of USA. Even better, buy them deveined and cook them thoroughly, as undercooked shrimp, even if clean, can still harbor digestive parasites that affect seniors with weaker stomach acid. Now, let's talk about the number 1 seafood danger for anyone over 60, the silent brain killer hiding in plain sight: tilefish. Tilefish isn't flashy. It's not famous like tuna or salmon, but it quietly ends up in mixed seafood dishes, white fish fillets, and frozen fish medleys. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because tilefish contain some of the highest levels of mercury ever recorded in commercial seafood. Mercury isn't like salt or sugar. It doesn't just pass through your system. It accumulates in your organs, especially in the brain's hippocampus, the area responsible for short-term memory, emotional balance, and coordination. For seniors, this is a direct assault on independence. 1 serving a month could be enough to raise your blood mercury to dangerous levels over time. And the signs don't scream for attention. They creep up quietly. You forget why you walked into the room. Your handwriting becomes shaky. You lose your balance when getting out of bed. It's all written off as normal aging, but what if it isn't? Let me tell you about Margaret Chin, a 71-year-old former high school principal. She was active, sharp, and loved cooking. She included tilefish in her diet twice a month because she believed it was lean and healthy. Within a year, she was misplacing car keys, then names, then forgetting the route to her church. Neurologists found elevated mercury levels and early onset dementia. It destroyed her short-term memory in less than 18 months, her doctor said. She now lives under assisted care, and her husband of 40 years is her full-time caregiver. The worst part? It was entirely preventable. Tilefish ranks at the very top of the FDA's do not eat list for seniors, pregnant women, and children. Yet many don't recognize the name, and it often appears under vague labels like whitefish or mild fillet. Your safest bet? Avoid tilefish altogether. Do not buy it fresh, frozen, or pre-cooked. Instead, choose sardines, wild-caught salmon, or Atlantic mackerel, low mercury, nutrient-dense, and brain protective. So far, we've exposed 4 seafoods that could sabotage your health, memory, and mobility. But what if I told you that some seafoods act like medicine, reducing inflammation, repairing cartilage, and even reversing aging markers by up to 15 years? That's exactly what we'll reveal next. Stay with us, because the right seafood might just save your brain. Now that you know what not to eat, the brain-damaging, mercury-loaded, inflammation-triggering seafoods, let's flip the script. Because while the wrong fish can steal your memory and stiffen your joints, the right seafoods can actually do the opposite: protect your brain, lower inflammation, strengthen your bones, and even help slow the biological aging process. Let's start with number 4 on our list: wild-caught sardines. Sardines may not win any beauty contests, but when it comes to senior nutrition, they're one of the most powerful healing foods nature has to offer. These small, oily fish are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, essential fats that lubricate your joints, reduce brain inflammation, and protect your heart from dangerous plaque buildup. Each serving of sardines also delivers a potent dose of vitamin D, a nutrient that nearly 70% of Americans over 60 are deficient in. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, supports immune function, and plays a critical role in maintaining mental clarity and mood stability. But sardines don't stop there. They're also loaded with bioavailable calcium, the kind your bones actually use. This makes them especially beneficial for seniors at risk of osteoporosis or fractures without the need for risky supplements. And here's the bonus: sardines are extremely low in mercury. Because they're small and low on the food chain, they don't accumulate toxins like larger predatory fish. That means you can safely eat sardines several times a week with no concern for mercury overload. Plus, they're shelf-stable, affordable, and available in nearly every supermarket, packed in olive oil, water, or even with lemon and herbs for added flavor. Just make sure you choose wild-caught varieties without added sodium or vegetable oils. Next, we move to number 3, wild-caught Alaskan salmon. When it comes to brain protection, heart health, and anti-aging power, wild salmon is in a league of its own. This fatty fish is rich in omega-3s, but it also contains something sardines don't: astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is a bright red antioxidant compound found naturally in wild salmon, and it's been dubbed the king of carotenoids. Why? Because it's 500 times more powerful than vitamin E and one of the few antioxidants that can cross the blood-brain barrier, meaning it can directly protect your neurons from oxidative damage. A landmark Harvard study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 6,000 older adults and found that those who ate wild salmon twice weekly had a 26% slower rate of memory decline than those who did not. The researchers attributed this to a combination of omega-3s and astaxanthin, which together fight inflammation, boost circulation, and even support the regeneration of brain cells. But not all salmon is created equal. You need to look for wild-caught Alaskan salmon, not farmed salmon. Farmed salmon may contain higher levels of PCB toxins, lower omega-3s, and added dyes to fake that healthy pink color. Wild salmon, on the other hand, naturally develops its color and nutrient profile by feeding on krill and plankton, both rich in astaxanthin. Whether grilled, baked, or added to a salad, wild salmon is a versatile superfood that delivers powerful anti-aging benefits in every bite. Try to consume at least 2 servings per week, ideally with the skin on, where much of the healthy fat is stored. Let's continue with the top 2 seafoods that every senior should consider making a regular part of their diet. These aren't just safe fish, they're therapeutic, restorative, and uniquely powerful when it comes to protecting the aging brain and body. Coming in at number 2 is Atlantic mackerel. Now, you might be thinking, wait, mackerel? Didn't you just say king mackerel is dangerous? Yes, and here's the key difference. King mackerel is a large predator fish high in mercury, but Atlantic mackerel, also known as Boston or Norwegian mackerel, is smaller, lower on the food chain, and contains 75–90% less mercury while offering all the same omega-3 benefits plus more. Each serving of Atlantic mackerel delivers over 4,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids, making it one of the most concentrated sources of these brain-boosting, heart-healing compounds on the planet. Omega-3s are essential for reducing inflammation in the brain, improving blood flow, and even stimulating neurogenesis, the birth of new brain cells. That's right, your brain can grow new neurons even after 60, and omega-3s help make that happen. For seniors struggling with brain fog, forgetfulness, or mental fatigue, these healthy fats can be life-changing. Multiple studies show that diets rich in omega-3s can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease by up to 38% and help slow cognitive decline in those already experiencing symptoms. What makes Atlantic mackerel even more special is its bioavailable B12 content. Just one serving provides over 300% of your daily B12 needs, critical for nerve function, red blood cell production, and mental clarity. B12 deficiency is shockingly common in seniors, and it often masquerades as depression, confusion, or memory loss. Eating Atlantic mackerel 2 to 3 times a week can correct this naturally, without injections or pills. And because it's naturally oily, this fish is incredibly moist, flavorful, and easy to prepare, grilled, broiled, or even smoked. Just make sure the label says Atlantic or Boston mackerel, not king or Spanish. And now, the #1 brain protective seafood you've probably never heard of, Arctic char. Arctic char is a cold water fish that's native to northern lakes and Arctic coastal waters. It looks like salmon, tastes like a mild trout, and has one of the cleanest nutrient profiles in the entire seafood world. But what really sets it apart for seniors is its unique combination of omega-3s, low mercury, and selenium, a triple threat for protecting your brain, heart, and nervous system. Let's talk about selenium for a moment. Selenium is a trace mineral that works like a detox agent in the brain. It binds to heavy metals like mercury, neutralizes them, and helps escort them out of your body. Seniors who eat diets low in selenium and high in toxin exposure have been shown to have a greater risk of stroke, Parkinson's, and memory disorders. Arctic char gives you both, omega-3s to build and protect neurons, and selenium to clean the brain of neurotoxic waste. That's not just prevention, that's repair. It gets better. Arctic char is also one of the few fish that contain vitamin A in its active form, retinol, which supports vision, immune function, and skin regeneration, areas where seniors often see accelerated decline. And here's the best part. Arctic char is extremely low in mercury, often testing lower than both salmon and tuna. That means it's safe to eat several times a week without fear of heavy metal buildup. If you've never tried it before, Arctic char is buttery, rich, and forgiving to cook. Pan-seared with olive oil and lemon, or baked with fresh herbs. It's a culinary treat and a therapeutic powerhouse. In summary, these 4 seafoods, sardines, wild-caught salmon, Atlantic mackerel, and Arctic char, aren't just safe for seniors, they're medicine in disguise. They can help reduce joint pain, improve memory, support heart health, strengthen bones, and may even extend your health span, the number of years you live feeling sharp, mobile, and independent. Let's bring everything together. If you've watched this far, you now understand the alarming contrast between seafoods that harm and those that heal. On one side, we have the danger list. Raw oysters from warm waters that can carry deadly bacteria, king mackerel with sky-high mercury that accelerates cognitive decline, imported shrimp from Asia laced with antibiotics and industrial toxins, and tilefish, one of the most neurotoxic fish available, quietly eroding memory and brain function. Now compare that to the power of safer healing alternatives, wild-caught sardines, rich in omega-3s, vitamin D, and bone-building calcium, wild Alaskan salmon, loaded with anti-aging astaxanthin that helps preserve memory, Atlantic mackerel, which offers a mercury-safe dose of brain-regenerating fats and essential B12, and Arctic char, an unsung hero in the seafood world that helps detoxify the brain, fight inflammation, and fight inflammation and unfind hero in the seafood world that helps detoxify the brain, fight inflammation, and these are not just better choices, they are proactive tools for protecting your body and mind in your senior years. What should you do next? Simple. Head to your fridge or freezer right now. If you spot tilefish, king mackerel, or shrimp labeled as product of Vietnam, Thailand, or farm raised, it's time to let it go. Toss it. No recipe or savings is worth compromising your memory, your joints, or your independence. And if you've been struggling with symptoms like brain fog, memory slips, numbness in your feet, or dizziness, ask your doctor about a heavy metal blood test. Mercury toxicity is often overlooked, yet it's fully testable and in many cases reversible if caught early. To make smart seafood shopping easier, we've put together a free downloadable resource called Safe Seafood Over 60. It's a simple, printable guide listing the best fish to eat, what to avoid, and how often you should eat them. You'll find a link below. Just enter your email and we'll send it straight to your inbox. Before we go, we want to hear from you. If you learned something new today, drop a fish emoji in the comments and let us know your favorite seafood and how often you eat it. We read and respond to every single comment, offering personalized tips and safer swaps where needed. And if you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We publish science-backed senior health tips every week, from how to detox heavy metals naturally to simple food swaps that can protect your brain, your heart, and your mobility. Because the right seafood isn't just healthy, it could be the difference between losing your memory and keeping it strong for years to come.